Let me show you what we're going to make tonight. Then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the suite. I'm going to show you the products in it, and then we're going to make 2 cards, okay? So are you ready? All right, so let's see. I'm going to show you the first card that we're going to make this evening, and it's with Nature's Harvest Bundle. You're going to learn all about this cork paper, and you're going to see all of these different wildflowers, all the different die cuts. Hello, Carol. And so I think you're going to really like this card. I'm going to show you a ton of product in here, okay? So this is the first card that we'll create together. And then our second card, ladies, was my Hostess Club card this month. And it's a fun fold. All right, I know, Sue, I like the bundle too. This right here is a step card. I guess that's what I'll call it, or a fun fold. But I'm going to show you how to score it and cut it so that you can create your own. All right, and then we'll do a little bit of coloring as well. And this is one of the designer papers in the Harvest Meadow suite. And it's just really, really pretty. And this is coordinating with Soft Succulent, okay? So these are the 2 cards that we'll create. And we are going to start, thank you, Tina. We are going to start right here in the mini catalog. And we're on page 54 and 55, okay? Thank you, Linda. I'm glad you like it. I guess it is a step fold. Okay, so over here are all the products that belong to the Harvest Meadow Suite. Hello, Jeannie. Yay, it is an awesome fold. All right, I'm zooming in. We've got the stamp set and dies. We've got an embossing folder, ribbon, embellishments, cork paper, and the designer paper. All right, so let me show this to you in person. Also, if you turn to 56, you're going to see the bundle, and then you'll see 2 more card samples, okay? So I know many of you liked this card right here. And this is the one that we're creating, but I changed it up a little bit. So this is on page 54, okay? All right, so here you go. That I cased that one, all right, which I tend to do a lot with the catalog, so. Okay, oh my gosh, Tina, did you make one of these as a Christmas card? Wow, you are brave, girl, you are brave. Okay, so let's look at the products a little bit closer now. This is the actual stamp set right here. And I'm going to show you the dies. Now, you know me, I always like to have my dies cut out and on paper, but that didn't quite happen today, okay? But I am going to show you a few things. This die right here will cut out this stamped image right here. Okay, so you've got that one. And then this die will cut out, it's a little tight for good luck, but actually I think it would work. And then of course you can also cut out thank you with this die, okay? And then this die right here will cut out the words which we're going to use this evening. I don't think it will not work for this one. Too many 3 lines on this greeting. I love what it says. Sending healing thoughts. May nature's beauty bring peace to your soul. A reminder to never forget how much you mean to me and so many others. All right. And then this piece right here, this will cut out this, okay? So you can kind of see what the dies do. Now I'm going to show you, I did cut out some of the flowers, okay? So I'll be able to show you that. I just didn't get them on paper today. It just didn't happen. All right. So I have cut out this flower die cut with the designer paper. All right. So that's the designer paper there. And this is what it looks like if you cut it out with the cardstock. And that's a sunflower. And this is the sunflower right here. Okay, so you can see what that die does. Then we've got this piece. This is wheat. That's what I'm going to call it, okay? And again, these are cut out with designer paper. And so here is the actual die, okay? And then we have this piece. Now look at this piece. I actually cut this out using the cork. I'm going to zoom in, and I use the cork sheet to do that. And here is the same piece cut out in designer paper. And now I'm going to show you the die that goes with it. Okay? Then we've got this other piece. I'm going to move these, okay, just so that you all can see this. Look at this piece right here. I cut this out with the cork again, okay? And here it is right here. This is the die, and I cut it out with that cork sheet. The cork is very thin. It is easy to cut with the dies. And then, of course, here are the sunflowers when they are stamped and cut out. And then here you're going to see the words cut out. All right, so that's a sampling of all the die pieces. Okay, wanted you to see that. All right, oh, thank you, Lee, very much. Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way now. We're going to need these dies later, okay? Because we're going to use them tonight. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, this is all I have left in the cork sheets, okay? Now, when you order the cork sheets, you'll get two 12 by 12 cork sheets in a package. And if you participated in my paper share, this is in your paper share, okay? I'm going to zoom out now because I do want to show you the designer paper, all right? But this is the cork. It's super cool. And I'll even hold it up close so you can see it a little bit better. And we're going to use this tonight as well, all right? Hello, Jean. Good to have you from Florida tonight. All right, here we go. Here is one piece of the designer paper, and this is the Harvest Meadow. Now, I'll warn you, I don't have all of it. I've really been using this stuff. This is the opposite side, and I think I can zoom in a little bit closer for you. And then we've got this piece right here. Isn't this beautiful? Whoops. Let's put that back. And this is the opposite side. You are going to see some of this paper tonight because we're going to use it. Ooh, Sue, I know exactly which stamp you're talking about. And it's this one right here. And we're not creating a card tonight using this smudged stamp, which is a great name for it, by the way. This would be great as a background on your card base before you add layers, okay? And it almost looks like you could stamp it over this flower, or the flower could be stamped over this. So maybe if you ink this up and stamped off and then stamped it on top of the flower maybe, but this would be a great background stamp. I'm glad you asked about that, and you know what? I really need to make a card using that. Here is another sheet. And this is the opposite side. So you're seeing tonight Calypso Coral, Misty Moonlight, Bumblebee, Crumb Cake. These are the colors. Soft Succulent. Here's another piece of designer paper. Here is the opposite side. Look at the wheat. Love that. I'm just moving paper around, ladies. Hang tight. Then here is another piece. This has the soft succulent in it. And the opposite side is this piece, which is actually one of the dies, all right? So that's the paper. I believe it's called Harvest Meadow. It's really pretty, and it does come 12 by 12, okay? Now also, we've got the wonderful brushed metallic dots. They come in gold, copper, and bronze. And if you are taking advantage of the embellishment share, you're going to have a half package of these dots, okay? And they are awesome for embellishing. Now there is also an embossing folder, and you're going to see that embossing folder later this evening, all right? We're going to use it tonight, okay? And then the ribbon I do have, and that is right here. It is a diamond weave. Isn't that pretty? We've had other ribbons like this in our annual catalog, and they brought it back for this suite. So super, super pretty. All right, I think, oh, I know what I have to share with you. Well, there is a sister suite. I'm going to move my paper out of the way. A sister suite in the annual catalog. So if you have your annual catalog, it's page 110. And this stamp set is called Quiet Meadow. And it goes great with the new Harvest Meadow, okay? So I'm going to show you a couple of cards with Quiet Meadow. All right, here we go. So the stamp set looks like this. And the dies look like this. I mean, they're all kinds of different, I'm going to say weeds, greenery, just different things that you would find in the garden, along with the tag, some butterflies, and this piece right here for stamping words. So let me show you some cards that go with Quiet Meadow. I used our end colors here, and also the shimmer vellum. If you participated in my end color share box in May, then you have this shimmer vellum, okay? And so I've just added a strip to the card, and these dies right here are from the Quiet Meadow bundle, okay? But look how nicely they're going to go with the suite that we're working with tonight. So we've got polished pink, and we have pale papaya, and fresh freesia, and soft succulent, okay? And I think I gave away the evergreen one. I think I sent that to someone. But these were super fun and easy to make. Look at the words. That's one of the stamped images in the set. And it actually goes with the embossing folder, okay, that's in Harvest Meadow. So these really coordinate beautifully. Now I have two swaps that I received on the Hawaii trip using this set as well. So I wanted to show you this. This is Your Two Kind right here on the words, and they've used fresh freesia, and then they've taken the die cuts, and this die cut right here, that's shimmer vellum again. So if you got the share box with me, you have shimmer vellum, ladies, okay? So now you have another idea on how to use it, okay? And then the last card is this one. Super easy, just showcasing the end colors. And it also has one of the dies from Quiet Meadow. All right, so I thought that would be fun to look at those. I did want to share with you the Sister Suite, which is right here, Quiet Meadow. The vellum is still available, Rosemary, yes. And you're going to find it, Rosemary, in the annual catalog. And it's going to be towards the back here. Let's see if I can find it for you. I think I've gone too far back, but the vellum is available. It's a multi-pack, so you get all 5 colors. Here it is right here, page 135, the shimmer vellum, and it's item number 155616. It's $12. They are 12 by 12 sheets, and you get 10 sheets, okay? So really, really pretty stuff. I'm glad you asked about that. All right. So this is the part I always forget about, and that is to welcome you to Facebook Live in the Hive. So you're here, you made it. We're going to make a couple of cards together. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tammy Shia. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I've been a demonstrator for 13 years. And my favorite part is when we get a brand new catalog. One of my favorite parts anyway. So I'm happy to have you tonight. If you are new, please say hello. Don't be shy. Tell us where you're from. It's always fun to hear where everyone is from, okay? So let's get started. We're about to create our first card, and with this card, we are going to do a lot of die cutting, all right? And I think we're gonna do that first and get that out of the way. Okay, so I'm gonna move some things around here. I know that we're going to need this die right here. I'm going to use this die as well. And I'm going to use that sunflower right here. Okay? All right, so that's all I need for that. And then I'm going to take the piece of cork. Hello, Elaine. We're glad to have you from Manitoba. This is the cork sheet, and I'm actually going to use stitched rectangles to create the frame. So let's look at that first. I want to say it's this one, but it's not. That's too big. Once I figure out which die it is, I will share that with you. Okay, so that's going to work. That's the die we want there. Now, if you have the stitched rectangles, it's the third one in, okay? 1, 2, 3, all right? So that's the third one in. And now what I'm going to do is, since I want to create a frame, I'm going to skip a rectangle, and I'm going to put that one there. And that's going to create our frame, all right? So it's 1, 2, I used the third one, I skipped one, and then this one, all right? And it's from Stitched Rectangles, and they're located in the annual catalog, okay? Now, we're also going to do some embossing, so let me just move this to the side for a second. And I don't know how well you can tell, but I'm using a crumb cake card base. And this is actually embossed with the time-worn embossing folder. So we're going to use that tonight as well. We're going to be cutting out our flowers with designer paper. So that should be a lot of fun. And your crumb cake that we're going to emboss is going to measure 4 inches by 5¼ inches. And this is what we are embossing, okay? So we're going to get our new Stampin' Cut emboss machine. I think I can still call it new, right? And I'm going to bring it in here, and I'll probably zoom out so everyone can get a better idea of what I'm doing here. Of course, I'm going to shake the table. I apologize. This is the time-worn type 3D embossing folder. So we're going to emboss first tonight. And I am going to just insert the crumb cake. That's all I need to do there. And then I'm going to build the sandwich. And this is the most important part. Using with a 3D embossing folder, you want to use platform 1. This is 1. Then the folder, and then the platform 4. And this, ladies, is 4, and this is the one we use with 3D folders. You just follow the guide. We're going to put all of this in here, and then we're just going to roll it through. And it's so quiet. All right. And then we're going to open this up. And then this is your time-worn piece of paper. Okay? All right. Now we're going to do some cutting. And let's see, we're going to be using paper and die. So now I'm going to use this sandwich, which means I want to use platform 1, platform 2, cutting pad 3, and then I'm going to add some flowers here. This is going to be for the sunflower. I'm going to move it over here so that I can get more than one thing on here. This is going to be my, I'm going to call this one wheat. I don't know if that's what it is or not. And I don't know. This one I'm going to do with the green, and I'm going to lay this way. All right, so I've got all 3 of my wildflowers or weeds right there. And I am looking for, and maybe I didn't bring it over here. I need my next cutting. I don't think I brought it over. I need one more cutting pad. Let me grab it. Okay, now this is an older one. And then we're just going to roll this through. All right. I know, Tina, I don't have to hold my breath on this one. All right, nothing to line up. So here we are, and that just fell out beautifully. Here is our daisy. And then this is our wheat. And this one, I may have to poke out, but we can do that in a minute. And then this one right here, there we go, is right here. So we've gotten all of that done. And now we're going to do the cork. So on this one, I am going to hold my breath as it goes through the machine. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to conserve cork paper because this is my very last piece. And I want to line this up, all right? I want to get this pretty straight. And of course, I'm looking at it sideways, so give me a second. It's easier to move the outer the outside rectangle to create the frame instead of moving the inside one around, okay? Easier to move the outside to straighten it up. And then, yes, I'll hold my breath on this one. We're creating the frame. There we go. And I think this will take care of our cutting tonight. That's how it cuts through. And actually, it looks like it's done a good job. See how easy it is? The cork is very thin. I'm actually going to run it through one more time because I don't want to rip my cork paper. This is my very last piece. I used this for classes last week and some other sample cards, and it's just used all of it. All right. So there we go. That's going to come out. And then that comes off. And then this piece right here. And this is how you create your frame. And then we have this piece left that can be used for something else. So that's the frame. All right, now we're going to be ready to put this together. All right. Oh, hello, Peggy. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Dawn. Goodness, so many new friends joined us. Hello, Elaine. So many have joined us since we just got started. Good to have you. All right, we're ready for some seal on this. You could even pop up this layer if you want. I'll go on and put some here and here. And make sure that I'm opening my card. Now, the card is a standard card base, okay? 8.5 by 5.5. And then you score at 4.25, okay? And then this is just going to get centered. All right, so it's crumb cake on crumb cake. All right, just like that. And I'll go ahead and zoom in now. Laura is watching while she's walking. You're very talented, Laura. Okay, we're going to now add our frame. And we're going to add dimensionals to that. I know you ladies are surprised that I'm even using dimensionals tonight, but you're going to find that I'm using them a lot. All right, and one more. And to keep it three-dimensional looking, I'm just going to add extra dimensionals. Okay. And then we're going to add the frame to the card. Hello, Jennifer. I don't know if I said hello to you or not. Make sure I'm still opening the card correctly. And this is where I am going to add the frame. All right. So that's where the frame gets added right here. Okay, and then we'll add the wheat. So I just need to pop this one right out the die here, very gently. And for this one, I'm actually going to add a little bit of Tombow glue, all right? And it takes just a few extra minutes for it to dry on the cork. And I'm going to put it right here in the center. And I see another place where I can add a little bit of Tombow. Just hold it a few seconds so that it will adhere. All right. Just put that back down. All right. All right. We have other things that are going to help hold this together, okay? Then it looks like we're going to add our little sunflower. This time I'm going to add some smaller dimensionals. And I think I'll put one about here. Why don't I turn the flower around this way? And let's see where else I can put one. Right there, I think. Okay. All right, so let's peel this off. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the wheat, I'm just using the designer paper. I'm using designer paper on all 3 of these. All right, so there's the next one. Once you've cut everything, this is, it's really easy to put together. Let's see, I think I'll add a couple dimensionals. I'll put one there. And I think I'm gonna end up gluing the rest. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna put this one about here. Okay. Hi, Jeanne. I'm so glad you popped in tonight. I know this is a fun bundle. Fun, fun, fun. I hope everybody enjoys this bundle. Again, if you're using Tombow, you're gonna hold that a little bit until it adheres, but it will stick, okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is add a greeting. And I'll measure this piece of basic white cardstock for you. Oh, good. Jennifer, I cased this card from the catalog. So now you can case it from me and see how contagious it is. We just keep, everybody just keeps copying. All right, so your basic white cardstock is about 3 1/8 inch. You could even do 3 1/4, okay? And then this is almost 3 1/4 inches. So you can cut it at 3 1/4, okay? And that will be fine for that. It doesn't have to be too exact. Let's go ahead and punch it. And I'm going to be using this punch right here. And it's the Banner Pick-a-Punch. Item number is 153608, okay? And the way I like to use this, you have 2 different ends, all right? I'm gonna use this end, but you could use the inverted end if you want. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna slide this all the way in, and then I just wanna check the back, and I wanna be sure that that's in the center, and it is, and so I've punched that out. All of our punches are designed so that you can use them upside down. All right, make sure we've got that one centered. And then we're done with that. We'll move this out of the way. And then we're going to stamp. And we're gonna ink this up in Calypso Coral. I'm so glad you all like the card, thank you. And we're just going to stamp right here in the center, and hopefully that I get it straight. Looks like I did okay on that. And then we're going to add this to the card, okay? And I think what I'm gonna do, and I haven't tried this before, let's see, I'm going to actually put some dimensionals at the top of the greeting. All right, so let's see how that turns out. I'm not sure how I created it the last time. Whoops. We're going to add it right along here. All right, so that seemed to work out just fine. I'll zoom in a little and we will add the embellishments. All right, I have a pack that's almost complete here, so let me use some of these. And I'm going to go ahead and add one about here. You know what? I actually meant to grab a different color, so hang on. I'm going to go with the bronze for this. Hang on one second, trying to grab this. So we'll do the bronze. Okay, so I'll show you what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to pull off the embellishments with scissors, but it's not working so well. So guess what? We're going to try something else. Let's see if this works. All right, and we'll put one there. And then I'm going to add one more, and we'll put that about there. All right. And so there is our card. And again, the inspiration came straight from the catalog. So I'll give you a few minutes to look at that. Our next card, you're gonna really wanna take notes, okay? I'm going to add my little Facebook Live sticker to the back of the card, and someone is going to take this home tonight, okay? Hello, Elaine. The name of the stamp set, Jean, is Nature's Harvest. It's page 55 of the mini, all right? And it's right here. Nature's Harvest 156813. All right. And it's $53 for the bundle. So if you were to order the bundle, you would earn a free celebration product. You would earn a free 16-page tutorial, and you would earn a B from me, okay? So lots of reasons to celebrate, right? Okay. So I'm gonna set this one aside, and I'm gonna let you take a good look at this one, ladies, okay? And I'm crossing my fingers that I score and cut everything correctly. I just need a few minutes to set up. All right, I'm going to put my rectangles back so that I don't lose them. That is done. Okay. Anybody have any questions regarding the first card? Okay, so I am totally out of this designer paper. It's soft succulent. It's got some script on it, some words. I'm so glad you like it, Peggy. So I'm out of this one. So we're gonna go with Misty Moonlight tonight, okay? I'm gonna zoom out, and you're gonna find that I'm going to zoom in and out quite a bit because I want you to see these measurements and score lines, okay? It's not hard, it's just a lot of cutting and scoring, okay? All right, here we go. Cross your fingers that I do this right and I don't have to get up and get more cardstock, okay? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and swing this arm out because we're gonna need it for one of the measurements. And ladies, I am starting with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, okay? And I'm just going to cut it in half at 4 1/4. And that actually gives me 2 card bases, but we're just gonna need one unless I mess this one up. This is my cutting blade, and I'm gonna move it all the way to the bottom of the trimmer because I don't wanna cut the paper, I wanna score it, okay? Now, we're along the 11-inch side, and you're going to score it at 6.5 inches. Remember, 6.5, all right? And it's scored, okay? Now, I'm gonna zoom in, I think, and I wanna show you something I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn this paper around the other way. This is important, okay? So remember this to rotate your cardstock, okay? Now, I'm going to wanna create some score lines. And here are a couple of measurements for you to remember. This is the 1-inch line over here. This is also at 1 inch. I'm gonna use this 1-inch mark, okay, for scoring and cutting most of the time. Now, I want you to also take a look at our Stampin' trimmer. This is in the annual catalog. It's $25. That's it, ladies. $25. And one of the best things about this cutter, there are lots of good things about it, but one of the best things is look at the arm of this paper trimmer. It has measurements on it. There's a 1-inch measurement right there, okay? We're also going to use that 3.25 inch measurement, all right? So keep that in mind. And now we're ready for scoring, and I'm gonna head on over to that 1-inch mark. I'm using my scoring tool. Let me zoom in. Okay, so here's my scoring tool. You can't see this, but right here is the 1-inch mark on the arm. And so I am going to score down to 1 inch. All right, and do you see the line on that blade? That tells me I'm at the 1-inch mark, okay? And I'm just gonna look over, yep, I got it. All right, so that's 1 inch, okay? So I've got my first score line. I'm actually gonna make it just a little bit deeper. Again, I'm going to 1 inch, I'm coming back, okay? And then I have that 1-inch score mark. Now I'm going to go down here, and remember, this paper is 4.25 inches long. So I need to go in 1 inch. So if it's 4.25 inches and I go in 1 inch, I'm going to the 3.25 inch mark and stopping. All right. And I'll do it one more time. It's a little bit harder for me because I'm trying not to get my head in the way of the camera, but there's the 1-inch mark, okay? So that's what we have so far. We've got both of those done. Now I'm going to move this down. See that score line we just made? I'm gonna move it down to the 1-inch mark, all right? And I'm gonna make sure I'm on that 1-inch mark. Let me zoom out. All right, there's the 1-inch mark there. That score line is on the 1-inch mark. I'm gonna do the very same thing. I'm going to score to 1 inch and go back. And there's my score line. Then I'm gonna come over here and I'm going to go to the 3.25 inch mark and bring it back, okay? So this is what you should have. And hopefully you can see those measurements. Sometimes when we use dark cardstock, it's hard for us to see score lines. But I'm hoping you can see that. All right. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our cardstock this way. And we're going to take this And we're gonna head on over to that 1 inch mark again. So here I am heading over to 1 inches, okay? And then I'm going to take my scoring blade and I'm going to 1 inch. And I'm gonna go from 1 inch to 6.5 inches, all the way to that other score line. And I'm gonna come back, okay? So 1 inch all the way to 6.5 inches, where that score line is. And then what I'll do is I'll go over here to this 1 inch mark on this side of the trimmer, close this, and I'm going to score again from 1 inch all the way to 6.5 inches. And I'll even go back. And the beauty of this is, again, look at the mark on that blade, the scoring blade. It tells me where to stop. I've got measurements on the arm. It's just amazing. All right. All right. And you know what? We actually didn't need to score that. So you know what we're going to do now? I'm on that 1 inch. We're actually going to cut it. Yep. I'm going to bring my cutting blade up, okay, right here, and we're going to cut from 1 inch to 6.5 inches. Now, I want you to know something, okay? Those long score lines we just made, we really didn't need to make them. We just need to cut them, okay? And that's a little step that I forgot, but it won't matter because it still works. Okay, so let's go on over here to 1 inch. We're cutting to 6.5 inches. See that? We were supposed to cut instead of score. All right, so hopefully you can see that. And then we're gonna go over to 1 inch here. And we're gonna go to, yep, 1 inch here. And we're gonna cut to 6.5. And I'm using the arm to guide my measurement. And so now this is what I have, all right? Now, one more thing to do and we're done. This is the 6.5 inch score line that we made fairly early on. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that score line and I'm gonna put it on 1 inch, all right? And then I'm gonna take my scoring blade. Whoops, let's get the cutting blade totally out of the way so we don't mess up. Take your scoring blade and you're going to score between those cut lines. And so that is where you, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm not in the camera. This is where you would score, okay, at 1 inch. And I'm actually going to make those lines a little bit deeper for me. It's hard because I'm like hanging over the table and I'm trying not to get my head in the camera, and I'm just doing this in very awkward positions. All right, so there you go. And that's it. And now we're gonna look at the card this way. Okay, I might need to zoom out for this one. I'm gonna zoom back in. And I want to show you some designer paper that we're going to use. We're going to use this piece right here. Excuse me. And I'll measure it for you. It's 2 1/8 of an inch by 4 3/8 of an inch. And so we're going to put some Stampin' seal on it. And then we're going to add it from this score line down, and I'll bring this up to the camera so you can see it better. So if you remember, this is the 6.5 inch score line that I just folded. Then there is a score line right there. And so this piece of paper has about 1/8 of an inch of cardstock all the way around it. All right, so hopefully you can see that. And that's where that piece goes. Now we have 2 other strips right here. I'm going to take a sip of water real quick. And this paper, you're going to have 2 of these, and it measures 7/8 of an inch by 4 3/8 of an inch. And you're going to need 2 of these, okay? I think I'm just about out of the, it's on its way out. I'm ready for another refill. Okay, so now I'm going to add this again. Actually, no, hang on. I almost did that wrong. I'm going to do it from here down. Okay, and again, it has 1/8 of an inch. It's from the score line down, 1/8 of an inch allowance, okay, around the designer paper. And so it's going to happen the very same way on the other side. I'm going to turn it sideways. It's just easier for me to apply the designer paper. It is like stuck to my fingers. All right, and then we're going to add this. And I'll go ahead and zoom in a little. So the front of your card is going to look just like this when you're done. All right, I folded it at that 6.5 inch mark. Okay, that's what I have. And then I am going to take this and fold it. I'm going to do it again just in case you didn't see. This goes in, okay, and this goes up. So when you're done, hopefully you can see that. This is what goes in, okay? That goes underneath. I think that's what I should say, underneath. Okay, and that's what it'll end up looking like. And now we're going to stamp our flower. And I am actually going to ink it upside down because this is a pretty big stamp compared to the ink pad anyway. And then I'm going to turn this over, and our flower is going to go about right here. I'm going to measure this circle for you. I used the Layering Circles dies, and the paper, the diameter is about 2 3/8. Okay, I know it's a pretty super cool fold. And once you make a few of them, you begin to remember the score lines and the cutting lines, Peggy. All right, so that is the diameter of the circle. So if you were using the die diameter would probably be about 2.5 inches, okay? All right, so now we're gonna do a little coloring. And I'm actually gonna use soft succulent for the stems. Another alternative, if you don't have soft succulent, use Old Olive, and that would work. Mossy Meadow would work, any of those greens. I'm going to take the dark soft succulent, and where these lines are in the leaves, I'm just gonna kind of highlight those just a little bit. Not really gonna color it in with it. All right, and then I'll take the light soft succulent, and I'm just gonna color in the stems. And that's all I'm doing here is coloring in stems, okay? Now, I'm going to be using some light pumpkin pie. And let's see, what other color am I gonna use? And I'm going to be using, I think, the dark Daffodil Delight, okay? So it's gonna be these two, okay? All right. Peggy, that's an excellent idea. Peggy says, I'm gonna practice cutting this card with scrap paper first. And Peggy, I highly suggest that. That's actually what I did so that I didn't mess up my, my good cardstock. All right, so yeah, great idea. I'm taking the light pumpkin pie and I'm just shading in some of these lines. Okay, I'm gonna fill it in with daffodil. Here we are again. If you don't have pumpkin pie, pale papaya also works beautifully. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and shade the bottom of this daisy. All right, and while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna color the centers with pumpkin pie. And here comes the dark daffodil. I'm gonna add that into the mix here. Okay, and I'm gonna add it here as well. I'm just kind of coloring over that pumpkin pie. All right, and there's that one. I'll zoom in a little bit more and maybe you can get a closer look at the coloring. Bess, I'm glad you like the card. I cut about 25 of these for Hostess Club. So after you do a couple, it gets easier. All right, but you know, next week I may not remember how to do it and I'll have to come back and watch this video to figure it out. All right, so there's my daisies. Excuse me, make it a little, there you go. So pumpkin pie and daffodil and soft succulent, and that's the Stampin' blends, okay? Now you all know that I'm gonna pop this up onto a scallop circle. And I'm going to do that with Bumblebee cardstock, all right? Yes, absolutely, Tina. While you're doing it, cut a bunch. While you remember it, absolutely. Now I'm going to add Misty Moonlight. And this one, I'm actually going to, you know what? I'm gonna pop this up, but I'm actually going to tape the Misty Moonlight here. So before I can tape the Misty Moonlight, I need to add some Stampin' Seal right in the center, okay? Now, two things you can do. This is going here, but we need to put our wildflowers underneath, all right? So you can add your wildflowers here, or you can take your Stampin' Seal and put some in the middle, okay, to add the flowers. Now I've got to find my flowers. What did I do with them? Here we go. So I'm going to use the Calypso Coral. Again, I have cut these out from the designer paper. Something else that you need to be aware of, you do want your wildflowers within this border so that it will fit in an envelope, okay? All right, so that's that one. Then I'm going to add another flower that I cut out with designer paper. I'll put that one about there. And then I have this one. This too is cut out using designer paper. And I'll just kind of stick this here. Okay. I'm actually going to clip off these stems. I don't think I'm going to need that. And then I am going to add my circle right here. And this is where you can move things around if you want, some of the different little pieces. And then this I'm going to pop up. Thank you, Jeanne. Jeanne, it's the Stampin' Blends. It is not me, okay? I'm going to give the Stampin' Blends all the credit for the coloring, okay? Then we're going to take our crumb cake die cut. I've already cut it out for us. We're going to use some early espresso. And we're going to stamp right on top of it. All right. Now, that's okay, but I'm going to try one more time to see if I can get it better. And I think this will work. There we go. You can certainly stamp your cardstock before cutting it out, okay? Let's go ahead. We'll add some dimensionals here. Okay, there's that one. And now let's add some embellishments. So which one, girls, do you like better? I kind of like them both. I think I'm in love with both of them, not just one. All right. I'm going to use the bronze this time. I'll put one there. And then I'll put a bronze down here. All right, so the place is a little different. Now on this one, I did put some linen thread and a bow. This one does not have it. All right, so you have that option as well. I know, I kind of like both colors too.